Today I'm going to do some braised red cabbage
Cooking cabbage.
in my slow cooker. Hi everyone, welcome to Planet Juju. I haven't tried this before, but electricity is quite expensive at the moment and I normally do it in the oven, and the slow cooker is only 100 watts. So even though it's on for longer, it's actually going to be a lot cheaper to make this way. I'm going to use one red cabbage, a couple of cooking apples, a red onion, some cider vinegar, some pepper, some sultanas and some golden granulated sugar, and a little bit of water as well. So the first thing I like to do is to slice my red cabbage into small strips about that big. Some people say shred it, but I don't really like it particularly shredded. I like the bigger chunks of cabbage that come through. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, and then I'm going to core and peel my apples and chop those into reasonable sized chunks. So let's get all this out of the way, and I'm just going to put my slow cooker on to start heating up as well. That's on low for the moment. I'm just going to take off the outer leaves of the red cabbage. That's probably enough. And then slice that through the middle. Or sort of the middle. And you see there it's got that stalk. Well, you don't want the stalk, so I try and get that out. Cut that in half again. And then just slice through that bit of the stalk, so that's just mainly cabbage there. There are some thicker bits, but they should be fine. And do the same with this side. This is a slightly thicker one, so there'll be a bit more stalk in this. So just cut through that bit there. And that bit there. And just those little bits there will probably be okay. And then it's just a case of slicing. That's a sort of slice size I like. Till you gradually just get everything sliced. The leaves get quite compacted and they curl around each other, so it's worth just sort of teasing some apart, because they're just going to cook more easily that way. To just give myself more room, I'm just going to chuck that straight in. The leaves will tease apart more once they start softening down when they're cooking. Right, that's all the red cabbage in. Now for the apples. You can use cooking apples, which I usually do, and you can also use eating apples. It doesn't really matter if you can't get your hands on cooking apples. These ones come from my friend's garden. With cooking apples, they can go a little bit mushy, so it doesn't really matter how big or small you chop them. So that's my apples all chopped and mixed in with the cabbage. The next thing is my onion, which I'm just going to slice and do the same mixing in with. I've just sort of made very thin slices and I'll just separate them a bit before I mix them in. You can actually do this a lot more easily by layering everything a bit at a time. It seems rather full at the moment, but this is going to go down. Once everything starts getting a little bit more limp. Now I normally do these next bits by eye, so it's going to be a difficult one for me to say, but maybe about 100 grams of sugar.
Oh, sweet.
That much. Stick some pepper on. And you might or might not like sultanas, but I do in this. Just give that big mix again. Try to just tease it in a little bit. Whoops. Now for some cider vinegar. Again, I'm just sort of gauging this by ear. I don't want to put too much in. I don't want it to be too vinegary. But the sweetness of the apples and the sultanas and the sugar is going to even that out. And then just a little bit more water. I'm not going to fill it up or cover it or anything because it is going to shrink down and I don't want to be too much liquid in there. That'll be enough just to get it going. I'm going to put it on high now. I'll stick the lid on it. And I'm going to leave that there for at least an hour and come back and see what that's doing.
1 hour later. It's getting warm in here.
It still smells really oniony. If you can see here, the liquid is actually coming up quite high now. And it's all sort of gradually working its way down. So I'll just give it another stir because it's probably got another hour to go. That's been about 2 hours so far.
2 hours? Come on, butter me up.
It smells absolutely delicious. I'm going to put a little bit of butter in at this stage. Just gives it a slight glaze when it's done. Oh, it smells really nice.
3 hours? Soft and shiny.
That lovely glaze. I'll just have a quick taste of that. Yeah, that's really good. It's got that tangy vinegar, sweet and sour flavour going on, and you can still taste the apple and the sultanas. Really delicious, lovely winter festive flavour there. One red cabbage makes about 4 of these freezable containers, and each one is about 2 portions. It makes a super side dish, and if you want it with a little bit more flavour, you can also add things like caraway seeds or anise or cloves, and it just brings even more of a festive flavour to it. And you may not have tried it, but I would recommend it cold in a sandwich with some cheese. It's really nice. Let me know in the comments if you have a different variation on this recipe and if you enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.